Hi, this is Allison Christophe from the Aquamarines under the Dolphins under Team Aqua, and I am going to give you some information about a planner that I've been using for the past year that I have really thought was very helpful for what we're doing. Before I give you information on that, I actually want to show you the other method I've been using for keeping track of datings as well. So I'm using this and this to keep track of all of my information. To begin with, this is a dollar planner that I picked up at Target. You can see it's really thin, not a whole lot of weight to it, but it's been really nice to have because I can take it to my parties and have them have the people who want to have a party with me just write their information right on the sheet. So it's just a calendar. You can see I have different addresses listed on here. I have the hostess write her information in on this page. It's almost like she's signing a contract when she writes it on the page herself. Then I also have a little cheat place above here where I can put down if they want a Facebook event, if they want me to put a mail them information, if they want me to do Facebook invitation, or if they want me to do an email or postcard. So I have a little bit of information here, and then when I take care of those things, I check them off. If they change their date, I just put a little notation here when they change the date to. If you can also see, I have X's on the different dates here. Those are for taking out days that I'm not available for parties. So that takes away the pressure when you're booking a party of having someone look at your, number one, your personal information that you really don't want them to know. You really don't want them to know when your date night is with your husband or when you're taking your kids to the dentist. So that keeps it only for Norwex, and then the X's allow them to see, okay, she's not available these days, don't push for Sunday the 6th of September because she's not available. And you don't have to explain why. There's also a little note place here on the side that I usually will just put a note for if I want to make a phone call to a certain person. You can see on here. If I want to make a phone call to a certain person, maybe they said call them in August, so I will put a note there, call them in August. So that's what I use for my parties, for getting the hostess information. This is what I keep for myself. This is from the printed planner, which is Celia Cawthorn, and I have really liked this one for a number of reasons. I'm just going to give you a quick little demonstration through it. It has a clear plastic cover, so it's nice and durable, and then it has, inside the front cover, it has the little helpful suggestions for how to use the planner to get the most out of it. It does come with some labels on the side here with January, February, March, so you can actually have them sticking out so it's easily accessible. You can flip right to one of the months if you want to. And then up on the top, they send you a pack of little post-it type things. I have actually the ones from this year card right here, but you can actually put them in your book to keep track of if you want to say, okay, let me open it up to mileage. You have a tab right there, so it's easily accessible. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration of one of the months here. This is March, and I'm just going to walk you through the one from this last year. This is from 2015. I do have a 2016 that I'm just going to show you the differences on, but I figured it would be easier if you could see a little bit of what I have done rather than a brand new one. In this March one, it has a calendar of events here, so you have just your calendar layout, and then what's nice about this setup is you can put in here, I put in just if I'm going somewhere to do a party. So for instance, if I have to go to a demonstration here, or maybe I have to drop off product, or I'm meeting with someone to go over information, I'm meeting with a recruit, I would put in here who I'm meeting, where, what time, etc. And then I also put my mileage in here. So I put my odometer readings, and then I have my mileage. What is nice about this setup is over here to the side, it has a place to put party sales, so you can put your total party sales for the week, and it has a place to put your total mileage for the week. So when you complete your month, you can come over here and you can add it all up and then add it into the mileage and expense tracker that's at the end of the book. So you can add it up into here and add your expenses, whatever you have bought. If you bought paper for the month, if you bought Norwex expense, if you had to buy swabs for the chicken swab, whatever it happens to be, you can keep track of all of that stuff right in this section here. But before, let me back up here again. After you have your month here, it gives you the day-by-day sections. It has a spot where you can do hourly different meetings. So if you have your demonstration at someone's home at 7 o'clock, you can put that down here. You also have a place that says business where you can put down just a checklist of things you might have to do that day. I don't cross them out once I've completed them. I actually put a check next to it. That way I can go back and still read what it was that I did. So say I had a question about whether or not I mailed a packet to Susie at her house. I can go back and say, oh yeah, there it is, I see it right here, rather than try to decipher what was underneath of the lines through it. So over here you also see a section for home. It has spiritual exercise, 15 minutes to declutter, what's for dinner, and it has a spot for keeping track of how much water you've drunk, if that's something that's important to you. I don't use this section as much, although it is fun to see what you keep track of with dinners and meals. That's it for the week section. If you continue past that, you will come to the section for, I can get to it, important dates. This is helpful for if you have important dates or if you have a meeting. I used it also to keep track of what I was selling at vendor shows that I did. But just helpful information that you might have. And then on this page it has a section for monthly sales goals, so you can keep track of your total profit, your sales, what your goals are, what your monthly party goal is, your monthly recruit goals, and then I try to list at the end of the month what I actually did have happen that month. Down here it has supplies to order. So at the end of every month or the beginning of the next month, I make a list of the things I'm getting low on, and then as I order them, I just check them off. So if it's hostess envelopes, if it's order forms, whatever it is, you have a list of that so you can keep on top of it. And then once you make that order, you can put it into your monthly expense sheet and keep track of it that way too. Down here it says promotions for the month. This allows you to put down, say, this month is going to be free mop month. So when it comes to July and you have somebody say, hey, when can I get a free mop? You can just look back through here and say, oh, okay, it was January, so most likely the next time is going to be January. Down at the bottom you have hot recruit leads, names and numbers. So if you're out and you meet somebody that would be a really good recruit or a really good hostess, you can list that information down. Then you have a spot for information on new team members, so you can add them in here, put their address information. A spot for social media, and that includes Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and you can keep track of what you have done and where. Then there is a section here for parties, and it has the hostess name, the date, party booked off of, projects planned, supplies needed, and it has hostess coaching. So it walks you through what you could be doing, how to coach your hostess along, and time frames as well. It gives it time frames here. At the bottom it says expenses and total sales. Right here I like to list in what I did for the $100 basket, or if I did free giveaways during the party demonstration. I'll just put them in here, and that gives me a little quick reference when I want to go back and see what I spent expense-wise on parties, or to keep track of what I have given away for tax purposes. And this whole book actually is perfect for tax purposes because it ends up having all of your information in one easily accessible documentation book. So if you have somebody, if you ever got audited, you could pull it out and show them, okay, this is my mileage, this is what I was doing when, this is what I bought, this is what I was doing at this point, and it gives them a much better idea of what you actually have been doing. Moving on down here, there is a section here for you to list all of the attendees or the customers that came from that party. On the end here it lets you know if they booked a party, and I just put the date in of when their party is going to be, and has email and phone. So it's a nice little address book for future reference again. So you have, I believe, 8 of those in here. Then you get here to the mileage and expense sheet, which I showed you already. Monthly notes, which are good if you have a team meeting, you can keep track of that, or if you have specific goals that you want to make that month. Then they have the end of the month checklist, which is really helpful for keeping track and making sure you don't have a huge list to do at the end of the year because you forgot to do it every month. So it has rewrite monthly to-do list, reconcile monthly expenses, clip receipts together, reconcile petty cash, reconcile monthly mileage log. So that just be going through and making sure you have those totals back in your expense log. Plan monthly meetings, put on calendar, schedule reminder emails, plan monthly newsletters, put on calendar, set up next month's office hours, close out sales to individuals, close out parties and hostess benefits, close out deliveries, pay yourself, pay assistants, plan Instagram posts or links that you'll use, plan Facebook posts, plan Pinterest posts, create next month's goals, make thank you notes for next month, give your home a monthly cleaning, schedule date nights, make calls to fill calendar, brainstorm next month's social media topics, and check stats. So it just gives you a helpful little handy tool to help with organization. Here you can put in those new contacts that you might get more information on, and that would be the end of the monthly. Then if you come to the end here, go to the very back of the book here, end of December, you're going to come to a spot where you can list your incentive trip. So you can keep track of that. I did not keep a well track of that last year, but there is an option of keeping track so you know where you're at. Then you also have a section for customer service systems, so if you have questions or have to make customer phone calls. I did put most of mine in this book because I had a couple pages in the back, but you can put it in here as well. Then you have potential recruits, and it gives you a checklist for following up with them. You can put your names in, that way you can keep track if you did contact Susie because she was interested in joining, and how you did and how long it took her to join. Once they join, there's a new consultant checklist here where you put their name in, initials, and it just helps you have a little bit more focus or scheduling for training them. Then we have another address book, and that is it for this calendar, this planner. I want to walk you through a couple of the changes with the new one. There aren't very many, but I'll just go through a couple of them, the main ones here. You can see that the font and the page printing is a little bit different. Not really anything to speak of except that it's just more colorful. And then in the one from last year, instead of saying business like last year, it says phone calls. So again, not anything too drastic. What I really like about this new one is that they have, in the updated version, put a section for vendor fairs. So you have name of the fair, date, location, project plans, and then it has like checklist of different things to do so you can promote your vendor show or things to prepare for it. So that is a really nice feature that they added this year. They also have a couple places at the end, it has a vendor fair new names. So you can put this out on your table and have people who happen to come by your table sign up and put their information down if they would like to receive your newsletter, or you can use it to list what you have sold at your vendor show. Either way, it's a very handy little paper. Here you have fundraiser, and there are a couple for those. Again, it gives preparation and selling tips for that and check off list, and it just keeps track of what you sold, supplies, what the fundraiser was, etc. So helpful information for taxes. Then we have, oops, I passed over it, your incentive trip. You can keep track of that. And then it has monthly promotions, so you can keep track of monthly promotions. It has customer phone calls, so if you need to get back with somebody, you can keep track of that in here. It has the customer name and number and the date of the call. Maybe you're checking on something that was a defect, or somebody wants something extra ordered or whatever. Here is monthly team calls, and there's a section for monthly team goals, team ideas and plans, and that just lets you help prepare and work together better as a team. New team member addresses and information. Train a new team member, same as the other one. And then here's an address book. So that is a pretty simple plan idea for what I've just really found helpful, and I hope that it'll be helpful for you as you are finding out what works for you in your systems. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. If you're on my team, you can contact me and I will be glad to help you figure it out. Here is your information if you are interested in buying this for yourself. You can, well, this is for 2017, but you can use it for 2016. And enjoy. Thank you for listening.